This is crazy.
Hi, this is Lazy Stone here. Welcome back to another reaction. So today we're going to be reacting to Wavy Web Surf, the cosplayers who became wanted criminals. Now, this is just a bunch of people who, cosplay in conventions, and, to be honest with you, I'm down to go to any, conventions near my city. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. People just dressing up as a superhero or some shit like that, or a supervillain, and just hanging out. Yeah, so I think that would be something cool to do. Hopefully I get to one. I go to one. Yeah. So I'm sorry, that video kind of distracted me. All right, so remember to just subscribe and leave a like. Make sure to go to Wavy Web Surf. Check out his channel. The link to the original video original video will be in the description. Make sure to support him. Without any further ado, let's get to it.
Is a time-honored tradition with millions across the country regularly participating. Most of the time, it's just a fun hobby that allows otherwise unrelated people to meet up, offering a great opportunity to make new friends. On one occasion, however, a woman was met with a nightmare situation after a crazed stalker who participated in the community took notice of her. The story begins in January of 2019, when the annual Anime Los Angeles convention was set to take place at the Ontario Convention Center. Anime enthusiasts attended the event, with many showing up in elaborate outfits, cosplaying as their favorite characters. One such individual was Matthew Toyotome, also known as Ninja Lee. He was a part of a Power Rangers cosplay group and usually dressed up as the Yellow Power Ranger. Taking a look at his social media, Matthew was quite the peculiar figure. Aside
Yeah, Buddy looks like he's too down to be I don't know, it's one thing to enjoy cosplaying and shit like that, but I mean, I wouldn't take it to this level. I'm just saying. I mean, I like to wear costumes, say a few jokes here and there, but he's taking it a little bit too seriously.
Aside from the Yellow Ranger stuff, he often posted photos of himself wielding replica firearms, LARPing as a covert secret agent of sorts, with him hiding behind trees and taking tactical positions behind walls and trash cans. Though odd, his behavior was innocuous. Matthew's true slide into criminality is born out of an unhealthy obsession. The man began developing feelings towards a woman in his cosplaying circle. Her name was Julia. Julia was a member of Matthew's Power Ranger group, and she dressed up as the Pink Ranger. The story goes that Matthew would eventually make his romantic feelings known to Julia, but she wasn't interested and politely rejected his advances. At this point, you would expect that he would simply accept his losses here and move on with his life like a normal person. But if he did, we wouldn't be talking about this guy, would we?
Nope, unfortunately not. Let's see what he got into. Looking like Slim Shady, or before he was Slim Shady, looked like an 8 Mile Eminem.
Matthew was furious about getting rejected. His anger simmered and boiled over into a full-on hatred towards the Pink Ranger that politely rejected his advances. The deranged man started plotting his revenge, a plan that he would eventually
Revenge? Motherfucker, if you don't go down to a bar or some shit, look at this motherfucker, bro. Look at this dude. You that insecure? You see, that's the problem with today's generation, bro. If the chick ain't fucking with you, just make yourself likable, I guess. I don't know. Talk to another girl. There's a bunch of girls out there, bro. You gotta be yourself sometimes, bro. He looked like Anton Chigurh from fucking, No Country for Old Men type shit. He on that weird shit.
Execute during one of the night's festivities at Anime LA Con. On January 16th at around 2 a.m. in the morning, Matthew strolled into the parking lot of the Azure Hotel and Suites, where Julia's vehicle was parked. In surveillance footage that was later publicly released online, you can see the man casually smoking a cigarette. Later in the clip, he walks over to her car and pours gasoline all over it before proceeding to set it on fire. As Matthew quickly left the scene of the crime, flames engulfed the surrounding cars in the lot, causing massive amounts of property damage. This also resulted in the hotel's fire alarms being triggered.
This is all because of I'm gonna let it.
Authorities were called soon after, with hotel customers even being evacuated. Local news outlet ABC7 interviewed a hotel patron named Hank Lugan, who had this to say.
Like, one of the police officers were cutting through in the cars. This is crazy. I think one of the people that we actually know, their cars are like completely melted.
While nobody had been physically injured, 7 different vehicles in total sustained some form of damage.
Not one, not two. This motherfucker did not think this shit through. He roasted 7 cars at 1:49 a.m. on a Sunday. This motherfucker went out to go get a cigarette, smoke, you know, just chilling, until he got, you know, he got the girl that didn't want a relationship. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I forgot her situation, but this is all for a fucking girl. You're doing this because of a girl rejected you, and you burst into flames of 7 cars in one night. That would be the last night of freedom for you, because that's arson, and that's a heavy ass charge. And arson cases, they're kind of fucking easy to fucking figure out who lit the match and shit. It's crazy how these niggas figure out who the fuck it is.
Despite the fire, police were initially hesitant to classify it as an arson attack, though their opinion regarding this matter soon changed after being provided footage of the guy literally creating the fire by the hotel manager. When questioned, Julia and her at-the-time boyfriend quickly identified Matthew as the individual in the video.
So she already has a boyfriend. She's already with a nigga. Meanwhile, this Anton Chigurh Asian looking nigga, he out here burning niggas' cars for a girl, for a woman who's already with somebody else, who's already occupied with somebody else at a room. And you're that fucking down bad. That's crazy.
The man was soon arrested, being charged not just for the arson attempt, but for his obsessive stalking as well, being given and held on a whopping $250,000 bail. Julia would make an Instagram post detailing the ordeal, thanking everyone for their support and asking for contributions to her GoFundMe, which eventually raised over $15,000. Some of the other victims of the fire also asked for donations, with the entire cosplay community rallying together to try to give what they could.
God damn, these niggas don't got insurance. I'm sure insurance could do something about that. But hey, that's a cop. That's a come up. You know, just make the claim. Get a replacement car, right? Because this wasn't you. This was criminal activity out this bitch. They already got the cameras. Got 7 motherfuckers that are probably gonna take this nigga to jail. I mean, to court or something. I don't see why you have to make a fucking GoFundMe for this shit. God damn.
This guy was clearly a disturbed individual, and I'm thankful that his incel rage only resulted in property damage and that no...
Look at this dude, man. Look at this motherfucker. You wearing a Pikachu maid outfit? What the fuck? A cheetah's... This motherfucker needs to be locked up. Forget it. He could have done way worse. He could have done way fucking worse than let a few cars. But now his bail is at $250,000. That's $250,000 right there, bitch. Who the fuck's gonna pay that much money for his bond? Holy shit, you better sit there and think about what the fuck you did, nigga, because you threw away your whole freedom. I don't know how many years this guy got, but
nobody was physically injured or worse. Redneck Raven cosplayer gets prison. Teen Titans is a classic superhero show in the minds of both.
One of my favorites, Cyborg, Robin. Just saying, I'm a big Robin fan, but yeah, ever since they made, I'm not gonna even get into that, but in this show in particular and specifically, Cyborg, Beast Boy.
Casual and hardcore cartoon lovers. Adults and children alike found the characters layered and dynamic, with Raven possibly being the best example within the show. Yep. Our next subject was a Raven cosplayer who not only fails to emulate Raven in just about every way imaginable, but this Titan ironically would help in the kidnapping of a teen. On November 4th, 2022, an unnamed teenage girl was abducted by a then 22-year-old man named Kobe Jerome Jordan. He had allegedly picked her up in his truck late at night, bringing her to the home of a woman named Molly Michelle Jarrett, who lived in the town of Pansy, Alabama. Another woman named Destiny Star Lewis was also present throughout this entire ordeal. According to the U.S.
All these motherfuckers are like rednecks. And they're from Alabama. Yeah, that solidifies the whole shit. They are all fucking rednecks. Loud ass fucking airplane. Anyways, yeah, they all look like goddamn rednecks.
Attorney's office, this kidnapped young girl had initially gone with the man willingly. To this day, it's unclear what the girl's relationship to these three adults were, and if it is known, it might be hidden for privacy purposes. However, it can be reasonably assumed that she was on decent terms with them beforehand, making what happened next all the more shocking. The girl was taken to an abandoned building in Jackson County, Florida. Keep in mind that Pansy is close to the border between the two states, meaning that they hadn't actually traveled that far. This is where the pleasantries seemed to stop, with Kobe binding her limbs with duct tape and brutally beating her. The trio then dumped the teenager at a seemingly random spot.
Yeah, damn, look at that gut. Y'all see the stress marks? Oh my god. Oh my god, you big as hell doing all this kidnapping shit. Yeah. And I bet you if she like kidnapped her, she was gonna be the first one to croak if she was the first person of interest. What the fuck?
Nearby, driving back home to Alabama soon after. The young girl was fortunately able to break free of her bonds and got out and found help. A report had already been filed after she was spotted by a nearby resident, with the teen's testimony resulting in an investigation being launched. Given the fact that the victim knew exactly, who the perpetrators were and where they lived, it wasn't exactly difficult for police to track them down.
Not at all.
While this story is pretty crazy on its own, it was photos taken after the perpetrators captured that garnered the most attention by the press. In a Facebook post published by Florida's Jackson County Sheriff's Office, photos of the deranged criminals were showcased. And in one of them, you can clearly see here that Molly is sporting a Raven cosplay, the costume being worn during the perpetration of the crime. To this day, it is somewhat unclear as to why she was wearing this Raven cosplay. If I had to take a guess, I'd say maybe them being from South Alabama had something to do with it. The juxtaposition of such a serious criminal offense being carried out by someone wearing a half-baked Raven costume caused many in the comments section to mock the individuals responsible, with the story becoming a